Alright everyone, just on here today vlogging because I'm bored, I can't sleep, and there's really nothing else to do. I went out tonight and had some bit to drink, but didn't really feel very well, plus it's snowing ridiculously, so I came back in. So figured tonight I would vlog about snakes, because there's a huge stigma going on out there that snakes are mean, that they're nasty, and that they're scary, when in reality they're not either. I mean, yeah, there are a few out there that are kind of terrifying, like the black mamba and all those scary African snakes that are venomous, not poisonous. If you say poisonous, I will kick you, because you don't call a snake poisonous. They're not poisonous, they are venomous. So don't make that mistake again. Anyway, as far as a lot of snakes go, like king snakes, corn snakes, milk snakes, a lot of the constrictor species, boas, pythons, a lot of them are generally really, 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 really sweet. And a lot of the problem comes when people buy these animals and they don't realize that they are absolutely like a lifetime commitment. Um, you know, I mean, as far as lifetime goes, 15 to 30 years, and they don't realize that this animal is going to get really, really big. And as far as like your general species goes, like the ball python, I mean, you can get a ball python and it's going to live maybe, I don't know what this, I actually don't even know how long ball pythons live. I'm assuming like 15 to 30 years, 15 to 20 years, but they really generally don't get that big. They stay relatively small, females getting a bit larger, males staying somewhat smaller. But with snakes, again, um, it depends on how you feed them as far as how large they're going to grow. If you feed a snake regularly, more than it should be fed, it can grow fairly large. There are a few pythons out there that are scary big because they're being fed like goats like every single week, and they're getting huge. But the problem comes when people are buying these animals and they're not realizing that the snake's gonna get huge, you don't have the space for it or the time, and then they get scared. So they take it down to Florida or Texas or places where it's not a native species, and they just dump it. And then you have an invasive species. There's issues with, I believe it's a Burmese python and the African python, the African rock python are interbreeding, and we're having this hybrid monster python going on down there in Florida, and it's pretty ugly. Um, if you're gonna buy a snake, you need to really, really, really read up on it before you get it. And I mean, don't be afraid to buy a snake. Start out with something like a corn snake or a milk snake, something that's not going to get too huge. I mean, they'll get like a decent size, but they're not going to get real thick, and it's not going to be to the point where when it gets to a certain length, you're going to have multiple people come in and take care of it. I guess you could probably see her in the background moving around. This is my 1-year-old Colombian red-tailed boa constrictor. She's a little coiled up right now. It's her first time out today, so she's a bit adventurous. I wish I could drag her out so you can see her tail, but I don't want to pull on her or anything. But again, there she is, saying hello. Real sweet. People think that these animals are nasty, and they're not. You just need to know how to take care of them. I mean, again, some species of snakes can be really mean, like blood pythons. I don't think I'd even want to own a blood python. They have a tendency to be a little bit more aggressive than other certain species. I have a ball python too, and she's my baby. I mean, but also with my ball python, if I put her down, she's not going to move for like 2 hours because she's basically satisfied just sitting there. um, this girl right here, she likes to explore a bit. I've got a king snake as well. My king snake's actually 9 years old now. About 5 feet. I would say about 5 feet. I haven't measured her in about over a year. I'd say about 5 feet. I've had her for um, so long. I mean, that was my first snake too. I've had, garter snakes and things like that, but as far as like largest snakes go, she'll be the largest snake I've ever had. Um, I'm a huge fan of just reptiles in general. I'm a herp fan. Lizards, yeah, I love lizards too. I've had like bearded dragons, I've had leopard geckos, I've had an iguana. I had to give my iguana away because I moved to an apartment that, I couldn't keep him in. But as soon as I get a house, I plan on getting my iguana again. Chameleons, I don't recommend as a pet at all. Unless you live in a place where it's a proper climate for it, maybe Florida, Southern California. Not even Southern California, really. You've got to really be somewhere humid for it. And they're not friendly. You can't hold them. They don't want to be held. They're not a species that wants to be held. You're going to scare it. When the colors change, it's not because it's being pretty or cute. It's because it doesn't want to be held and it doesn't want to be near you. It's absolutely terrified. Chameleons are not pets. They shouldn't be pets. I said the same thing about large birds. Certain parrots, things like that. They should not be pets. You shouldn't buy it. It's it's not an animal that needs to be on the market. And again, a lot of animals are now invasive species because of it. I think chameleons actually. I don't know if it's the chameleon. It might be the chameleon that is now an invasive species in Hawaii. Could be wrong. If I'm wrong, comment and correct me. I know we now have an invasive species of some sort of lizard in Hawaii, or a lizard from Hawaii is now an invasive species in America. Something along those lines. I forget exactly what. Yeah, she's like really interested right now and coming towards the camera. I'll let you say hello to her. She's interested in the blue light of my camera. Ooh, come back. Come back a little bit. She's 4 feet. Can't really tell because of how coiled up she is, but I'm really kind of shocked about how quickly she's growing. Her vestigial legs are like really showing now as well. I actually haven't had her sexed yet. I probably should get on that. Um, Seeing the vestigial legs, I was thinking maybe male because of breeding purposes, but again, males and females have vestigial legs, so I should probably get on that sexing bit. But she has a checkup coming up in a month with the vet, so we'll find out then. But I'm hoping for a female. Females live longer, tend to live longer, and tend to grow larger. But she's been putting on a lot in girth and length. I've only had her for about 5 months, and she's grown quite a bit since I've had her. Alright, but I think I'm going to stop vlogging now, just because I want to put her back. She's been out for quite some time now, and I think I better put her back. She's still trying to digest the rat she ate, so I'd better put her back. Also, to people who are like really against live feeding and things like that, shut up. Shut up. Honestly, shut up. Live eating, I'm not a fan of, not because it's cruel or any of that BS, but because when a rodent bites or injures or scratches or anything like that, it's really hard for a snake to heal. And a veterinary bill for a reptile can be really, really expensive because it's really difficult to find anyone that's able to take care of reptiles. Most veterinarians specialize in dogs, cats, sometimes small animals, not reptiles. So you need to be really careful as far as feeding mice and rats because they can bite and they can bite hard. Not to mention a lot of them have parasites that can be transferred into your snake. A lot of them have mites on the skin. A lot of them, like they're bred in dirty conditions. A lot of them have like wet tail and things like that. So they're just genuinely not healthy. If you're going to live feed, you know, breed your own if you can. If you absolutely must live feed, like I'm not gonna lie, there are times when I've had to live feed when my snakes have been really picky and won't touch frozen. But as far as the majority of the times I feed them, I do feed frozen mice or rats. Um, it's the best way to do it. You just, it's healthiest for the snake. It really is the best way to do it. So just, be careful when you're feeding your snake and don't just go for the live animal because, oh, it's going to be cool or something like that. And again, to the people that say it's cruel, shut up. It's not cruel. It's nature. And I've had mice or rats that have been really smart and managed to avoid my snake for like 7 or 8 hours, and I've had to continuously try uh, until there until they got eaten. Um, and as far as with feeding, like you don't want to leave the mouse or the rat in there for 7 or 8 hours. I took it out because mice or rats, like they will nibble on your snake a little bit if the snake's not hungry or not feeding or refusing for some reason. So you want to take them out because they will nibble on it, just like crickets will nibble on a lizard if you leave them in too long. But alright, again, I'm gonna get off now because this lady here needs to get back under her lamp, and it's nighttime, so it's time for her to go to sleep, and it's time for me to go to sleep as well. So, bye. Thank you. And again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can. It's at Le Malange, which is LE_MAL_ANGE. That's my Twitter name. Thank you. Bye.